It's gonna be a sleeper. We're gonna take forever to get to 1,000. 393. Come on. Come on, Facebook. You know you're up. Come on. There we go. We're 1,000. All right. As always, we let the crowd build here for a little bit. We're gonna let it get up at least to 3,000 before I start getting into the stuff. Because what happens is then I get into the stuff and then people come back later on and say, you didn't touch the stuff that you said you were gonna touch. I'm like, wait a second, I think I did. No, you didn't. You false set me. You told me we were gonna talk about this and you didn't talk about it. I did. I talked about it in the beginning. You were late. What do you want me to do? All right, so we're gonna let it build up a little bit. A couple little things to note before we get into the beef. First of all, say hello to Miss Mary. Miss Mary. She's got a Trump hat on today. You know, walking, talking, and DVDs. Bring out DVDs. A lot of you guys have started to get your DVDs in. Some of you are actually watching them already. I thought they were supposed to be gifts for other people. You're watching them and I'm getting the comments like, oh my goodness, DML. I thought you were informative, but these films are blowing my brain, my mind. Yes, I told you. And the good thing is that, I don't know, a couple more weeks, I'll start talking about some of those things in the film more often and you guys could respond to it, knowing what I'm talking about. If you haven't received them yet, I told you, send for a tracking number and we'll track it for you. Most people send us, I haven't got my DVDs. We send you the tracking number and it's like, hey, it's here the next day. So that is TV360DVD at gmail.com. TV360DVD at gmail.com. Now, in addition to that, what else I want to say? There's some people who just can't afford the DVDs. And unfortunately, I can't afford to be giving away any more for free than I already do. So my suggestion to those of you who would like to get some DVDs but can't afford it, there are people who have bought the DVDs and have the extra copies and are willing to give away their free sets. So my suggestion is twice a day we post about Walk and Talk on my Facebook page. One has already been posted. That's sort of like the alert of what we're going to talk about today. Put a message down there. Say, anybody have any extras DVDs they want to send? People will look, they'll respond. Then also I would suggest you do it during the Walk and Talk here as we're going. You know, people read the comments and you get it up there. Then the other one is later on at night when we post the replay. Put your comment on there. Somebody will find you and you get it going that way. All right, well, I've waited long enough. And, you know, one of the things we're finding with Facebook is, I mean, you see we have 3,000 people. And you guys say, DML, don't worry about the amount of people. Of course I'm going to worry about the amount of people. It's like saying, don't worry about having enough money to go to the store when you're going to buy something. You know, Facebook has really cracked down, and it's not just me. I've been hearing it from everybody. They're just cracking down, and I don't know what else to say. I mean, you know, we have a Walk and Talk, which should essentially be growing in popularity, and yet, you know, people who have been following me for years. In fact, Joe from Right Side Broadcasting, who actually is broadcasting this right now on YouTube, he's getting messages underneath the video. Are you sure you want to still get notifications from Dennis Lynch? Checks yes. Next day, back again. So I don't know, if you get one of those boxes, make sure you check yes. I'm thinking if you don't check it at all, maybe they just take it as a no. Who knows what it is, but we keep doing what we do and just, you know, hoping that sooner or later they figure out that they're pissing off people. And that's that. Okay, let's dive in. I've waited long enough. So, first topic. Where is Mary? Okay. First topic, real quick. Secretary of State, as you may have seen this morning, it's officially official. Donald Trump is taking the CEO from ExxonMobil. A few things you may want to know about this guy. I mean, look, he's, you know, if you were creating an all-star team of business people, this guy would probably be one of your first 3-4 picks. All right. In addition to just making himself a gargantuan amount of money, you know, he's a world traveler. He's been doing business deals and he's been doing negotiations with countries from all over the world, and he is ultimately a success. Now, the downside is, you know, he supported Jeb Bush for president, and he actually donated to Jeb Bush. And he's written, I told you yesterday, an op-ed that he supports Common Core. Well, he's not the Department of Education, so we don't have to worry much about that. But it sort of tells you the sort of mindset he has. He has an establishment mindset. But nonetheless, I always go back to the same thing I say every single time, whether somebody is the best pick or not the best pick. You are ultimately resting your bet on Donald J. Trump, president-elect. That's it. He's the guy they got to answer to. If Donald J. Trump is going to stick to what it is that he promised on the stump, it doesn't matter what anybody has done in their previous life. It doesn't matter what anybody takes in terms of what their mindset was towards Common Core or green energy or anything to that level. It basically comes down to Donald Trump. And if Donald Trump sees that one of his cabinet picks is a miss, you know what he's going to do? He's going to dump him. He's going to dump him. He's not going to hold on with both hands to try to prove the fact that he made, the right choice. He'll just say, no, I'm going to dump and move on to somebody else. I can guarantee you that in Trump's presidency, he is going to dump people. It's part of business. You hire people, then you fire people. I mean, look, right? He made a whole television show about firing people. So, listen, stay tuned, but don't worry. Now, one of the other things is people talking about the fact that this guy may have a hard time getting approval. Listen, what did I tell you yesterday? Headlines, headline grabbers. We own the Senate. We own the House. Okay, headline grabbers. I'm sure he'll get in. Am I going to bet every last dollar on it? No, it's too early for that, and I don't need to make that bet just yet. But anyway, I think he's a good choice. Is he the best choice in the world? No. I still have my heart set on Rudy Giuliani just jumping out of nowhere and saying, all right, I'm back. And he said, yo, you know what? You're out, CEO Exxon. In, Rudy. But don't bank on it. Okay, so now I really want to go into the politics part here, is the Russian hacking thing, all right? And just for those of you who missed yesterday and you've been waiting on the whole DML electors thing, and you guys still sending me links this morning. My team is like, Dennis, we got a lot of links coming in, from other show hosts and other people. I don't listen to them. Do you understand? I don't listen to anybody else's show. Periodically, a little Hannity. Periodically, a little Tucker. That's it. The ideas and things that come out of my head come out of my own. I'm not a regurgitator, and I'm not going to waste my time to go watch what somebody else is saying and then comment on what they're saying. So please, although I love you with all my heart, up and down, left and right, please don't send those things to me, because you're never going to get a response out of me. I'm never going to comment on what somebody else has to say about something else. That's their deal. I already told you yesterday. You can sleep easy on the electors thing, okay? It's headline grabbing. Somebody sent me something. Well, John Podesta is meeting with electors. John, sending me a link like that is almost like sending me a coupon for a black and white television. Seriously. Okay, thanks. Just move on, man. I told you. There's nothing to worry about with this elector stuff. Nothing. It's headline grabbing. Donald J. Trump is going to be the president on January 20th or whatever, January 19th, whatever day it is, the Friday in D.C. I'm going to be standing there with Right Side Broadcasting, God willing, and I'm going to be doing the inauguration about Donald J. Trump. Nobody else, okay? Over, out. I have not steered you wrong yet. Let's move on. Other people want you to stay in there because there's nothing else for them to get you to click on. All right? All right. End of day. Boom. Now, Russian hacking. I am just blown away by this story. There's some stories that just get me, and they get me in a way where I almost get a little angry. I'm a little angry at this whole Russian hacking story. Because you know what? It ties back to the fact of why I got 4,000 people on here and not 9,000 like we had not just weeks ago. Okay? And this is because the left and the progressives and all these whack jobs who just cannot get their hands around the fact that America wanted a change. They wanted a change. They wanted a real change. They wanted a businessman. They wanted somebody who has a track record of getting things done, of building wealth, of creating jobs, of having a strong fist. Boom. Okay? That's what they wanted. Because why? We're completely out of sync. We have no order. We're in complete chaos. Every part of our country is in chaos. Jobs are in chaos. Spending is in chaos. The border is in chaos. Healthcare is in chaos. Veterans care is in chaos. The military is in chaos. What do you mean by that, DML? I mean, we're shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. Not instead of staying robust at a time when Islamic terrorists are cutting people's heads off. We're shrinking. Cybersecurity is it's non-existent, okay? We're in total chaos. People wanted to change. And for some reason, the liberals just can't get their stupid minds around the fact that we stood up and we said what we wanted. And that was it. Instead, they got to blame everything else. I mean, it's like sitting with a 2-year-old. You know, how many times are you going to say, don't touch the phone, don't put your finger in the outlet, don't put your finger in the outlet, don't put your finger in the outlet, until finally you turn to your wife and say, can you get the outlet covers, because this kid's just not going to listen. Well, Dennis, what do you expect? It's 2 years old. I know, I get it. That's what's like dealing with these liberals. They keep it up. You know, it's always got to be something. It just can't be that they have no good package to sell. They didn't have a candidate. They didn't have a platform. They had nothing. They didn't have 8 years to show as success. Obama's trying to sell off his 8 years as successful. It's a disaster. It's an absolute disaster. Race relations, chaos. They can't get their hands around that. So what do? They search for things. And, you know, last week, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, it's been fake news. Fake news is what got Trump elected. Fake news, fake news. And then you know what? Who pays for the fake news? Guys like me, right? Small guys trying to build. You know, I don't have a track record. I don't have a track record of coming up with stuff that's phony and erroneous. You know what I got a track record of? Saying crap that liberals don't like. That's really what it is. Yeah, illegal aliens destroying the country, Obama leaving veterans to the waste. I mean, I could go down and down and down and down. They just don't like it. They don't like the truth. So what do? They have to, instead of embracing and say, hey, I made a mistake, you know, they pretend like, it's like, yeah, here's my analogy for the day, right? It's like the guy who looks like me. I look in the mirror the other day and I'm like, oh my goodness, I'm getting so fat. So what do? Do I start dieting, admitting that there's a problem looking in front of me, that I'm putting myself at risk for heart disease? Or do I go buy a bigger set of pants so I could fit into the pants and pretend like the rolls over my pants don't exist? No, I get on the treadmill and I say, okay, it's time to start losing some weight. The liberals don't do that. Obama doesn't do that. He wants to pretend that it's everybody else's fault. He's going to blame somebody else for feeding him, you know, the 3 cheeseburgers he shouldn't have ate. This is the way this mentality is. This is why nothing ever gets fixed. Trump comes in, he's going to fix that stuff. So what do? When the fake news thing doesn't come back and they say, oh, all right, you know, there really wasn't really any fake news. In fact, if there was any fake news, it was really by the left. We were reporting things that weren't true. And we were telling people things that were completely erroneous. And, you know, we were pulling women out of the woodwork to say, hey, just say that Donald Trump touched your breasts. And you know what? If that doesn't work, say he touched your vagina on an airplane. Yeah, okay. Could you imagine for a moment Donald Trump sitting on an airplane, doesn't know, a stranger sits next to him, he says, hey, how you doing? Do you mind if I touch you between the legs? Thank you very much. Come on. You know, these stories, they make this stuff up. The fakeness and the phoniness. Even Facebook. I'll go head to head with you, Facebook. I'll go head to head with you. You know, Facebook has been nailed for giving erroneous play count. Yeah, so this way you see a video like, wow, it's been watched 3 million times. No, not really. No, not really. They put up these erroneous play counts where they count when people just scroll past the video and it plays for 2 seconds. They put it as a play. That's fake. That's fake. You know what? In fact, to a certain degree, I wonder if that's not criminal. Because I wonder if the shareholders realize the fact that those are fake numbers. What about the advertisers? Hello? Who wound up putting their money into these sort of things and say, oh, all right, well, I'm getting back a good return. It's fake. That's it. It's totally fake. So no, instead they're going to turn around, they're going to blame people, conservatives, for saying that fake news. No. So when all that doesn't work, what do they go with? Well, we got to come up with something new. Let's go back to the Russian hacking thing. That's a good idea. What morons. DML, you're not a name caller. I am today. I'm in rare form. Where's Miss Mary? She's like a speck. Yeah. She's not in a good mood today. I don't know what to tell you. Some days good moods come, some days bad moods come. I have no idea what it is. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I was just being me. Guys outside, we have a problem with our driveway. He's outside trying to fix the driveway, ask a question about the driveway, whatever. No, I don't understand. Sometimes women just moody, you know? You know what I'm talking about, guys, right? Sometimes it's like, wait a second, why can't we just be cool? Still love her to death, though. But, you know, come on, Maya. Stop looking at the ducks. Mary likes the ducks. We got a duck pond over there. Oh, wait first. It's a gentleman thing to do. Come on. Let's go. No, I'm not walking faster because I walk every day now. You're walking slower, and because you have that Trump hat on, I have to protect you from all the people who are in the liberal bastion known as the East End who will try to attack you. And then I have to be kung fu fighting. Yeah, I got my whole IRA hat on. Nobody's gonna screw this today. Anyhow, yes, I do walk faster. Or it could be said that you walk slower, Miss Trump. That's a brave woman right there wearing that Trump hat, right? Yeah. Okay, so let's get back. So the Russian hacking thing. Okay, there is absolutely no solid proof at all that the Russians swayed the election at all. And now you're even at the point of where you've got the CIA and the national intelligence at odds. You know, the intelligence community is not going to admit that the Russians wound up doing this. They're not. And let's keep in mind, although I have extreme confidence in all of our agencies, especially the intelligence agencies, I don't have 100% confidence. They've dropped the ball too many times as far as I'm concerned. I know they're hardworking people, but there's no diamond that's perfect, okay? These are the same people who supported Mr. Barack Hussein Obama and Mrs. Hillary Clinton, in saying the fact that, you know, Benghazi was, a video. Hello? You know, these are the same people who told us that there was weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Hello? You know, mistakes are made. So we're going to hinge this entire election on the fact that Russians came in and hacked because some reason they want Donald J. Trump president-elect, as if Donald J. Trump has been on the podium saying, "Oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to give the Russians a uranium deal." Wait a second, DML. Wasn't that Hillary Clinton? Yeah. Okay. So you know what? So it makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. But why do they do that? Because Obama and the liberals need to come up with a reason to try to salvage, here it is, DML's revealing it to you, salvage Obama's legacy, salvage it. Because here's the deal, whether people like it or not, you know DML will always say it straight. President Barack Hussein Obama will go down as the worst president of all time. The spending, he's just blown it out of the water. He has put our future at risk. He really has. It's not an exaggeration at all. I can't think, with all the different things I come up with, I can't think of how it is that we're gonna get down this debt. I just can't. It will take a miracle to get it down. So this way my kids aren't paying for this. He has created a national security nightmare. Now, I'm going to get into that today because on top of talking about Social Security real quick, I'm also going to be talking about some of the stuff that's going on here on a national security level when I get into the WOW section. But understand, national security is not just the border. You know, it's everything. It's cybersecurity. So here he is. Obama is on Comedy Central, I think last night or the night before, stating the fact that the Russians, the Russians were in this. Dude, how stupid are you? Do you not realize the fact that you're basically saying that if the Russians did hack in, that this is on your watch? You knucklehead. Do you not understand this? You have allowed, we had the Iranians tapping in to a water plant in New York a couple of years ago. I mean, we're so vulnerable. Our cyber systems are so vulnerable to cyber attacks of massive level. And this guy's going to sit here and just talk about it as if it's some headline. This was on your watch, you bonehead. They sell these narratives and they never think them out. They just, they're like the kid who just is so spontaneous. He has no self-control. He just, this sounds good. Let me grab for it. Let me grab for it. And then after he grabs for the hot stove that he was told not to touch 15 times, like, yeah, that's Obama. That's Obama. Oh yeah, you're going to be able to keep your doctor in. Yeah, he knew you couldn't. He just says these things, and then he doesn't think of the repercussions later on. So what he's done, he doesn't even know it, is that he's destroyed his own legacy with coming up with these cockamamie stories. He's made it worse. And so here's the wrapper. They all sort of kind of know it. And in addition to the fact that he'll just go down as the worst president, he's the first black president. Yeah. And so what you're going to have is the people saying, oh, that was failed. Yeah, we're not going to do that again. Yeah. Now listen, do I think that? No. I would have, if Donald J. Trump would have dropped out, I would have supported Ben Carson. Didn't like everything about Ben Carson. Don't think he would have made the strongest president in the world. But I'll tell you what, I would have taken him over Marco Rubio any day of the week. Would have taken him over Jeb Bush any day of the week. And by the way, in case you haven't checked, shh, don't tell anybody. But Ben Carson's black. Yeah. So what it is because Obama is just bad news in terms of being a human being when it comes to leadership. Whether he's black, white, orange, or polka dotted, doesn't matter. But the history books will show that the first black president in the United States was a disaster. Yeah. They don't want that narrative to be. So they come up with these excuses like the Russians hacked the election, and that's why it is that Hillary Clinton didn't win. They want any opportunity for an asterisk that they can get, including a recount. That's why you'll get somebody like Hillary Clinton be like, yeah, she hedges her bet. She doesn't come out and start championing for it. The bells. He loves what I'm saying right now because he knows I'm so spot on. You won't get this on other channels. I'm assuming, although I don't watch those other channels, you'll hear something like, the Russians may have really hacked, and I don't know. You know what? It could have been somebody else. Listen, it's not. It's a false narrative that tries to just come up with an excuse that blankets over the real fact. And the real fact is that Donald J. Trump, as bad of a candidate he was, and what do I mean by that? All the dirty, different stuff we had to deal with. You know, the Billy Bush, all this other different stuff, it didn't matter. And that's what they can't get their hands around. They can't get their hands around that the press has always picked the president. Always picked the president. They have manipulated everything. You know, when they didn't want Mitt Romney, they started telling you stories about how it is he tied his dog to the roof. They didn't tell you about the fact that Barack Obama did drugs. They didn't talk to you about anything about Barack Obama, that he was a socialist. They ignored all the different things that he had done in his past. They just let it go, and they just put him out as a shiny dime. Here's this new dime. We need him. This is hope and change. And meanwhile, Mitt Romney, who has made himself $300 million so far, he's rotten. He tied a dog to the roof. That's what they do. That's what they do. They sell that narrative, and then you buy it. Maybe not you, but the American people buy it. You know, what do? They catch Mitt Romney saying the thing about the 47%. Again, taking it completely, 100% out of context, and they drive it. They drive it. Meanwhile, they forget about everything that Obama has done wrong over the course of his time. They don't talk about the IRS going after the Tea Party. They don't talk about guns being run to Mexico. They don't talk about Border Patrol agents being killed under Obama's watch. They don't talk about any of this stuff because they control the narrative. But this time was so different. This time, no matter what they came up with or what they threw out at Donald J. Trump, you didn't care. You didn't care because you know what? You said, hey, I know a lot of people in my life who are imperfect. I know a lot of guys. Hello. It's waiting for those bells. Thank you for this glorious day. Thank you for my wife walking with me today. It's been a couple of days because of the rains. I appreciate it. Thank you for these great people on the other side. Okay, so with the narrative being what it is, the newspapers, the old, I told you, right? That's our new thing. The old smoky room that's filled with the mainstream media, the big newspapers, the big networks, the big radio conglomerates. They're all sitting around saying, right? I like that new voice. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? They voted this Trump guy. Yeah, he's a billionaire. Yeah, he took $1 million from his father and he made it into a couple billion. So what? Who can't do that? Yeah, they elected this guy. Got to come up with something. Fake news. Russian hackings. We're melting. You know, they see their demise, and it scares them to no end. They don't pick the president anymore, and you don't pick their headlines. So what do? They come up with this assault on the truth. They're at war with the truth. They just want to pick on the little guy. They want to pick on the middle guy. They want to pick on people like me who want to try to build a network. They just try to kick. Those days are over. They're over. And they can't admit them. So you want to talk about the Russian hackings? What do I think about that? I think I just explained it to you. All right? It's BS. At the end of the day, even if the Russians did hack, you are not controlled by the Russians. They're not hacking into your brain. You pulled the lever. And I'm sure that you did not pull the lever, and I've said this before. You did not pull the lever based on some stupid story that was made up from nowhere. You pulled it because your pocket is empty, because your heart is empty when it comes to looking at what has happened to your country. That's why you pulled the lever. And oh, by the way, we just had a Democrat from hell, Barack Obama, and they gave us the option of another Democrat from hell, only she was a woman. Got that out of my system. Okay, now, I've timed this perfectly. The bells have rung. Some of you who do not like my singing, offends me, by the way. Some of you who do not like my dancing, I don't blame you. And some of you who just want just serious all the time. I want that smoky guy. I like him. Just give me the facts. Who's the Secretary of State? What's he do? How much he make? Well, he makes 27 million last year and 40 million a couple of years ago in 2012. He's got 4 kids. He's got a wife, and originally from Texas. Okay? All right, you got it. All right. Now, for the rest of you who like the wow and like the story time, well, now that's what it's time for. As soon as we turn the corner here and we get away from the trucks, then we go into that. So I'm just going to take a little pause in the action. It's going to warm up my voice. Yep. Ha! Tricked you. Social Security. Before I get into the wow story, I promised I would talk a little bit about Social Security. And I'm going to stand here while I wait for Miss Mary to catch up. So, here's the deal. There is a guy named Johnson from Texas, member of Congress, put forward a bill. And he wants to try to save Social Security. Now, we talked about this at length a couple of weeks ago. So it's still too close for me to go through the whole thing all over again. All right? But I will touch some of the bullet points. Social Security is in trouble. Forget about why it was in trouble. It's in trouble because by 2034, it is expected that there is going to be a shortfall. We're not going to have enough money. The amount of benefits that we pay out will only be 79% of the benefits that are due to somebody, meaning that you would get, if you're entitled to that sort of thing, 21% less than what you were expecting. That's a problem. So what to do? Because in 2034, they're expecting the fact that the money going in to Social Security will not be as great as the money coming out of Social Security. So this guy Johnson has proposed a bill, and in his bill, he is trying to make it so this way, slowly and gradually, the retirement age will go up to 69 years old. Now, it only applies for those people who have been born in 1968 moving forward. I'm born in 69, so it would affect me. So those people gradually, what do you mean by gradually, DML? Well, it would keep on moving up over the course of time to 69 years old finally. Now, he believes that this is one component that will help save Social Security for the next 75 years. The other components is that he wants to pull back on the amount of benefits that are paid to wealthy retirees. So you get somebody who, and I don't know what his actual threshold of dollars are, but, and this really starts to affect me. But he wants to dial back. So let's say, for instance, that Mary and I, from my lips to God's ears, retire with $10 million, and we got all these pensions coming in and whatever it may be. He wants to take, and I'm making these fictitious numbers, okay? So he wants to take the wealthy and he wants to bring down the amount of Social Security that I would get, because ultimately I really don't need it. So even though I paid into it for my life, what he wants to do is he wants to then give the lower income earners more Social Security. This is his plan. Now, how does it affect you next month? How does it affect you 6 months from now? It doesn't. It really doesn't. This is a bill. It has to go through all the, It's a bill to Capitol Hill. You remember that, right? Schoolhouse Rock. So anyway, it's got to go through a ton of processes before it would even become real. But here's the thing. You've got Paul Ryan. Love that guy. Not. You got Paul Ryan, who has not endorsed this bill. So already he's sort of said he doesn't like it. You know, Paul Ryan is one of those hatchet guys. He just wants to go chop, 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 chop. Okay. Now, meanwhile, Donald J. Trump, and this goes back to what I said before. Remember, you got to rest your hat on Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump promised that he would not be taking hatchets to Medicare and Medicaid, and that he would not be screwing around with Social Security, but that he would come up with a plan to help Social Security, and that you had nothing to worry about. Now, when you read the headlines, and that's what you guys do, you read the headlines and you send me the headlines and you say, DML, what is this? What is this? What is this? You read the headlines, you got to understand something. I told you yesterday, all this stuff is based on clicks. Well, there's another side. There is the side that says it's all based on kicking the other guy in the shins. The Republicans are always going to kick the shins on the Democrats. The Democrats are always going to kick the shins on the Republicans. So because most of the headlines are driven by Democrats, liberals, because they really own the media, what you're seeing is they're going to say, yeah, the GOP is going to try to take away, you know, Granny Mary's Social Security check. The GOP is going to try to cut all your Medicare benefits. All right. And the reason why they do that goes back to the scare tactic. That's one of the ways that they keep Democrats voting for Democrats. That's one of the ways they have low-income people who are on these entitlements keep voting for the Democratic Party, because it's under the pretense that they are going to always protect the benefits. Now, I want you to ask yourself a question. Donald Trump is 70 years old, and though he will never have to worry about money, neither will his children, grandchildren, or their children worry about money. Do you really think that Donald J. Trump is the sort of guy who's going to take away money from people who are in retirement? No, DML. There you go. There you go. Okay? There you go. So what are we going to do about that shortfall? I've told you this before. And this is why I'm very confident about Donald J. Trump, President-elect, being in there. This is exactly, remember, no, look. DML's got his total serious hat on. No jokes, no smiles, no sound effects, no nothing. I will look for Miss Mary. She's back there. You know, there are times when I'm dead serious. And this is one of those times. Because I know that those of you who are older are very concerned about this. I know some of you are barely hanging on. So I'm not going to play games. I'm not going to play jokes. I'm not going to try to water things down. I'm just going to bring it to you right. When I was studying this, when I was exploring, because I knew that this would be something that people would ask me all the time, I said, what's the real problem here? And I've explained this to you, and I'm going to say it one more time in short, okay? And yes, this is a topic we'll talk about again once Trump is in office. The reason why that we have a shortfall, and the reason why this program known as Social Security is under attack. People will say, yeah, the government's stealing from it. They'll come up with 50 different ways to Sunday. But it's the same thing as losing weight, right? You could say that there's the Atkins diet, and then there's the Miami Beach diet, and then there's the, you know, eat nothing but leaves and grass diet. At the end of the day, there's one thing for certain. If you burn more calories than you take in, you will lose weight. Doesn't matter what it is that you do. If you burn more calories than you take in, you will lose weight. The same thing comes to Social Security. Social Security is based on the fact that today's generation is working and paying for tomorrow's retirees. That's the way it goes. We are in a point right now in time. I can't use my hands because I got to hold the phone. But we have, let's use just my head. My head measures the people who are working full time. My hand measures the people who are collecting entitlements of all kinds. And what's happening is we have more people that are coming out of work and not paying into the system, but grabbing and grabbing and grabbing and grabbing. Not Social Security necessarily, but they're grabbing and grabbing and grabbing other entitlements. And they're staying on those entitlements. And what happens when we don't have workers? What happens when we're outsourcing jobs to India? Remember we talked about that the other day? No recession in this neighborhood. DML, there's no recession at all. I get it. It was a joke. Okay. That's why, when I talked about how it is that we're going to now start to build factories, F-16 factories over in India. That's the new thing, right? That I told you about the other day, Lockheed Martin and Boeing. Well, they say, oh, don't worry, no Americans will lose their job, but we're going to create 1,000 new jobs over in India. Well, those are 1,000 jobs that we could have had here where people were paying into Social Security, and now they're not. So when there's more of an impact than people just losing their jobs because we open up a plant in Mexico or because we're having things built over in China. Okay, the impact is, yes, people are out of work and people now have to go on entitlements and people are feeling down. But the other part is nobody's paying into Social Security. Yeah. So you could write all the bills you want. All right. To me, all it is guys shuffling papers around. Well, what about we take this idea and put this idea and this idea and this idea and this idea? And all it is are the so-called experts just ignoring the real big problem. And that is that we have removed the incentive to work here in this country. We have replaced, there's a whole bunch of different things. We've removed the incentive because we have made the welfare benefits for young people too easy to get and to stay on. We have, number two, outsourced so many of our jobs because we want overseas cheap labor and cheap production costs. We have allowed too many legal aliens and visa holders to come in here and fill American jobs. And so although the visa holders are going to be here, we're going to take some of their checks, but illegal aliens working cash under the books, like all these construction guys I've just passed. Used to be, there were guys working on the books, Americans, paying taxes. Now these guys are getting cash and they're sending it home. So what we're doing is we're not supplying enough money into Social Security. And the way that you do that is by having people work. So it ultimately comes down to this. If you're sitting at home and you're worried, I had one lady yesterday, Loretta, won't forget your name ever. You're sitting at home and you're worried. Don't look at it from the perspective, this is my 2 cents. Don't look at it from the perspective of a bill. How will this bill save my Social Security? How will this bill take away money from me? Think of it from jobs. Every time you hear Donald J. Trump saves another plant or does something with another company where jobs are going to stay in America, that is how you save Social Security. That is how you do it. Okay? Now, the other part too I want to put down in there is that we have so much waste, and I'm going into this topic a lot longer than I wanted to, but I know that you want it on the other side. The amount of waste that we have in this country is unbelievable. So much money that could be put into different areas of the government, different areas to these different programs, are thrown away from fraud, from wasteful spending, and it just gets blown away. So it's almost like somebody pays me today, hands me my money in my hand, it's a windy day, and I just let 5 of the bills just blow away, and I say, oh well, don't worry, I still got to keep 5 of them. That's the way we do it. It's not the way to do it. Donald J. Trump is going to turn that around, and these cabinet picks, in some cases, that he's grabbing, I believe, are going to lock into that sort of mentality, and you are going to be okay. Whew, thank goodness, DML. Yes, you'll be okay. All right? Miss Mary, picking up the pace.
Watch the puddle.
Watch the puddle, she tells me. Whew. Big puddle. Thanks. Wouldn't have seen that on my own. Okay. So anyhow, and it's not a big deal if I walk through puddles anymore, because even though you don't wash my socks, people send me socks. We're getting so many gifts. It's like, DML, when are you going to acknowledge my scarf? When are you going to acknowledge my band? When are you going to acknowledge my hat? When are you going to acknowledge... Thank you. I'm not telling them what you did. Actually, I told you a little fib. I gotta come clean. Reason why Mary's not happy today is because I wanted to wear my cheat sheet wristbands, make me look like Wonder Woman. And I was like, man, can you give me those wristbands? And she's like, okay. And she's going through the boxes because we have so many gifts and so many letters. It's like starting to add up, like pile up. Of course you can't hear them. Look, we're gonna fight. I'm gonna fight. You guys want to see you guys want a reality show? I'm telling them how you misplaced my bands.
Oh, well, an hour ago it was I lost it. Now I misplaced it.
Well, I'm sure you're gonna find them.
Yeah, I told you that. It's in the house somewhere.
Okay. We live in a very small house. So anyway, we opened up, my daughter was helping me open up these gifts, whatever. And so there's wristbands. I wanted to wear them today. And now I'm like, can you give me the bands? She's like, yeah, sure. They're inside with the other boxes. I'm like, can you get them? Because I'm kind of busy trying to do my last kind of, figure outs here on some of the Social Security stuff and this other stuff. I said, can you get them? So she's always great with that stuff. She gets me out my walking snooze, all that other stuff. So she's like, oh, I can't find them. What do you mean you can't find them? You got to find them. I need them. And she's going through all the boxes, throwing the stuff out. She's like, you must have moved them. I didn't touch them. I took them out of the box, and then she put all the stuff away. I said, you lost them. I didn't lose them. And then so we started doing what couples do. And then you know what she did? She stole my Trump hat. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you stole my Trump hat. Look.
It's warm.
Yeah, it's warm. Yeah, stole my Trump hat. Yeah, so now my ears have to be exposed, which isn't really true because you guys sent me a bunch of hats, but it's really not that cold today, so I don't know what she's complaining about. Yeah, so she's not happy with me. She's not happy with me. See, look how pretty that looks. She wants you to see how pretty that looks. Where is it? There you go. Where's the reflection? I don't know. I can't see. It's the water. All right.
You can see the trees in reflection.
All right. So you still mad at me? You still mad at me?
Stop.
Are you still
on a roll. Keep doing your thing.
Are you still mad at me? Are you still mad at me?
I'm mad at you.
You were mad at me, and it's not my fault. You lost the bands.
They're not
Although we
lost.
will find them. We will find them.
I think they're in the closet. I just have to find them.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Mary needs to go shopping in her own closet. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they're in the closet. Yeah, they're under some.
Find them.
Yeah, you'll find them. Yeah, she's gonna find them. All right. So, are we friends again?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
Yes.
Look, they're smiling on there. See? Say we're friends again.
We're friends again.
Okay. Who do you love?
Stop. Just go.
Who do you love?
Finish your stuff.
Who do you love? They know that you're an alkie.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they all know that you drank.
And?
You're still hungover. That's
I'm
why she
not.
couldn't find him. She's still hungover from 4 days ago. Yeah, that's how much she drinks. Yeah. Told you should have had chocolate milk. Now you kids, you get all the neighbors are all gonna hear about this stuff about how, oh my God, next PTA meeting. Can't send my kid to the Lynch's house. Room is gonna be Mary drinks every day. Yeah. All right. Well, listen, I'm gonna leave you behind now.
Go ahead.
Okay, that's over. So now I'll have lunch again. What?
I said there's no wind.
There's no wind. Oh, good observation. Yeah, Mary got a 4.0 in college. That's why she could come up with things like that there's no wind. I would have never guessed that on my own because I didn't go to college. Yep. All right, man. What's for lunch? What's for lunch? Tuna. They're telling me not to eat tuna. There's mercury in it. Anyway, look at this guy speeding. Watch. Slow down, man. Slow down. Slow down. Yeah. Sorry. So anyhow, let's go into the WoW thing. Oh, perfect. That was like, sometimes I can't make this stuff up. The WoW thing, if you didn't see on Facebook today, the title is Stupid Things People Do. Like going in a residential area, in a van, going 70 miles an hour when I'm walking by. All right? That's stupid things people do. Because what's going to happen? All of a sudden, maybe somebody could walk out, poof! You know what I mean? It's stupid. Where's he going? What's he late for? He's got some customer waiting, say, oh, you're supposed to be measuring my windows 5 minutes ago. So what? Stupid things people do. Stupid things. We reported on 3 of these things. I got to tell you, if you haven't seen them, you got to go to DennisMichaelLynch.com and see them. Okay? First stupid thing. This woman gets on Delta Airlines, but she doesn't want to wait on the line, right? She doesn't want to wait on the line. She wants to skip the line because she wants to make sure she gets an overhead bin for her carry-on. So what she does, in a day and age where basically you got to get patted down, felt, and oh, very nice, all this different stuff, and she skips the line. She goes into the plane, thinks she's going to get away with this, tucking her stuff on there, sits down in her seat. Everybody like, hey lady, you didn't go through the line. You can't do that. You got to get checked in. So what do? Mr. Police come in. This is Detroit, right? The cops come in, and you'd think that was stupid move number 1. Stupid move number 2 is cops come in and say, excuse me, man, you're gonna have to get off this plane. I'm not getting off. Yeah, you're gonna get off. No, I'm not getting off. So she fights the police to the point of where this woman, the police take her by her 2 arms and start dragging her through the aisle. And her shirt's going up, Her boobies are all flapping all over the place. You know, it's unbelievable. And people are sitting there with their phones taking this. This is going to live forever in this woman's life. Pictures, you know, all over the internet. You know, I posted it. Everybody's posted it. Everybody's posted it. It's all over the place. You know, somebody is going to sit there and be like, that's my aunt. That's my sister. That's my mom. What is wrong with you? We live in a day and age where people want to blow us up just simply because we sing Christmas carols. And you are going to try to skip the line and go into an airplane and think, A, that you're going to get away with it, and B, that you're not going to wind up getting arrested? What is wrong with you over a luggage bin? I guarantee you, that if you find that woman, she has an Obama Biden sticker on the back of her car. No doubt. And so you know what? That's what you get. That's what you get. Number two story. Stupid things that people do. This one got me upset. Now this one may have a little controversy to it, because I know some of you are very, very, very big about what Christmas is all about. And at the same time is, you know, sometimes we got to draw a little bit of a line. There's a story. I know the sun's kind of brutal. Sorry, I'm trying to make it best for you. Meanwhile, Miss Mary, you know, here's the leaf blowers again. December, what it was today, like December 43rd. And these people are still cutting the lawns. Why? Nothing's growing, man. You know what it is? Let me tell you what it is. Let your buddy DML tell you what it is. These people are so loaded that they still pay. Yeah, come on over and cut my lawn. It's gonna snow next week, but come on over and cut the lawn. Yeah, so these guys are like, hey man, I got no other business going on right now. Let's go over to the Schmear-offs and mow their lawns. Yeah, so they're mowing the lawns, rigging the leaves, and all it does is interrupt my walk and talk with a whole bunch of background noise we don't need. You know? Meanwhile, these guys, you've seen it. How many times have I said to them, how you doing? No hola, que tal? What? No habla inglés. What? No? Goodness. Well, at least we're employing somebody. So, anyhow, guy, a pastor. I'm not sure where this was. This may have been down in Texas. I'm not sure. I don't want to blame Texas for things that they shouldn't be blamed for. But this pastor goes into a shopping mall. You can see this on DennisMichaelLynch.com. Towards the top. We just did this stuff this morning. Pastor goes in, and he's got his phone like I do, recording himself. And there's a huge line of kids with their parents waiting to see Santa. And so he goes on and says, I'm about to tell these kids that there's no Santa Claus. That Christmas is all about Christ and Jesus. Who happens to be the same person. But I'm going to go tell them that their parents have been lying to them. Now, you know, right there, that is like, can we get somebody with a straight jacket? This guy looks like he's a 42 regular. I mean, what is wrong? What is wrong with you? So he proceeds. I mean, the fact that he's doing this on his phone seriously tells you, and bring, I don't know, a big, huge needle. We're going to need a set of some kind. I mean, so he goes up to the line. And he's got his phone. Like, you know, he's making, this is going to be the revelation. You know, this is it. Finally, kids are going to know that Santa's not real. So he goes up to the line and he starts screaming, I want to let everybody know, kids, children. You know, kids like this, like looking over. Who's that guy, Daddy? I want to let you know that Santa, that guy over there, is not real. He's a phony. There's no such thing as Santa. No, Jesus was born on Christmas. There's no Santa Claus. And the kids are looking like, Mommy, there's no Santa Claus? He's like, your parents have been lying to you. They're lying to you. And he's doing this like for minutes. And finally, you know, if DML was in the line, it would have lasted. As soon as he started saying, hello, kids, right there, I knew. I'm off the line. And then she goes, I want to let you know that there's no, I would have, out, done. You're not saying it. You kidding me? You know how many times I had a battle school teachers, rogue kids, change the channel. Of course there's Santa Claus. And by the way, let me say this to you, because I know there's some young kids that watch the show. I never lie. Never lie. Like, I know there's a little 9-year-old who watches with her mom. Her name's Mandy. Should I sing? Oh, Mandy, when you left me. It's not really appropriate for a 9-year-old. But, Mandy, take it from Mr. Lynch. Can't call me DML until you get older. I'm into the respect thing. Take it from Mr. DML. Santa Claus is very real. Don't ever believe anybody. He's cold today, huh? It's freezing. You cold?
No, I'm
No.
trying to move quick enough.
All right, yeah, you're all dressed up. Hey, you look like my wife over there, all dressed up. Where's your Trump hat, though? No Trump hat on her? Yeah. I'm telling you, she's got the whole Obama "Yes, we can't" scarf on. I saw it. Let me see. Yeah. Her buttocks has a Hillary bumper sticker in it. Oh, that's a jacket. Sorry. All right, liberals all over the place here. This is like liberal. This is liberal land, man. You want to? You think California's bad? You come to where I am. Seriously. I mean, you go around Christmas caroling, they hand you out blue candy canes. That's how bad it is. Look at leaves piled up. Jumpable. So anyway, the father comes out and he's like, hey man, you just got to get, the one guy comes off the line after this guy has done the damage. So Mandy, I was telling you, the Santa Claus is very real, very real. These people try to make it as that it's not real. And so that's why daddies stand up, and they finally say something. So this daddy stands up and he goes over to the guy. He's like, what's wrong with you, man? Pipe it down and get out of here. The guy's like, don't touch me. Don't you touch me. You can't touch me. And the father's like, look, man, it's time to move on. He says, you're lying to your children. You're lying to your children. The father says, no, I'm not lying to my children. I'm seriously not lying to my children. You need to move on. So he kept it up for another couple of minutes. Now, I would prefer all young children to be removed from the building at this point. In other words, turn your phone off or say bye, Dennis. I'll talk to you later. I'll catch you later. Right. All right, I'll give you 3 seconds. I'll count down. 3, 2, 1. Okay, now that Mandy has been removed from the room, this is why when you hear, and this may be a little controversial with you, you might not agree with me on this one. Don't hate me. Hate is not good. Hate, appreciate. Appreciate, don't hate. That's what my daughter says. You ever hear the term right-wing nut, right? This is where they get it from. Look, I understand that we've pulled God out of too many things. And maybe if we had a little bit more appreciation for, God and the blessings that we're given every single day, maybe the country and the world would be a better place. Not maybe, definitely. But, there are very few things in this world for children to just smile. There's nothing more. And I guess this ties in a little bit yesterday to the little boy who's 5 years old who died, and Santa came to the rescue, and said, gave him his last words that you're going to be, because the little boy asked him, he said, I don't know, for those of you who missed it, real quick, boy's dying, 5 years old, is in a hospital calls up this guy who plays Santa Claus, 60 years old, says, can you come down here and play Santa? This boy's, he's dying, like now. And, he wants to see Santa before he dies. And so the guy sits down, it's all emotional. He's trying to keep himself together. And the little boy says, I'm scared, where I'm going or whatever. And he says, well, when you get up to the pearly gates, he says, you tell them that you're Santa's number one elf. He goes, I think they're going to let you in. Don't worry about it. And as that, the boy dies. It's heartbreaking. I get chills when I talk about it. There's very few things in children's lives that are so pure, That's why I always talk with my wife. We talk about stuff like not breaking a child's spirit. Once you break a child's spirit, it can't get back. They got to deal with the rest of the crap that we have to deal with in the world, all the bad, right? So, one of the greatest stories in the world is the story of Santa Claus. The belief that somebody's going to come down that chimney and give you presents because you were a good girl. Now, yeah, I get that strips to a certain degree the religious part of Christmas itself, but there's no reason why we can't have both. That's like asking me to have my steak, but not the mashed potatoes. Why? Why do I have to have one or the other? Why can't I have both and enjoy both? They're two different things, you know. What? But they go together nicely. Why? Why do we have to make it that way? You know, to strip kids of a fantasy that's fun like that, that's just wrong. It's wrong. And I mean, some stupid things like that people do, it just, you know, it bothered me. So I just wanted to tell those two stories today. And the third stupid thing that people do, was one of the people that comment on here, all right? You got to remember something. DML is a very warm-hearted guy. I will do anything for everybody. I will do anything that I possibly can do. But if you attack me and you kick me in the groin for no reason, I'm not disciplined enough at this point in my life at 47 not to kick back. Now, sometimes I'll ignore and I'll just say, oh, this person's not worth my time, you know, and I do that probably 9.9 out of 10 times. But periodically you catch me on the wrong day. And so some guy yesterday says that he's not following me anymore and I'm a fraud. Really? Why? Because we posted a video that was untrue. These are his words. You posted a video that was untrue and you said that it was a migrant kicking a woman down the stairs. Really? So of all the different things that we've done over the past 7 years, all the things that you're going to bring it down to one video because we used the word a migrant kicked down a lady down the stairs? Truth of the matter is that a stupid person kicked a woman down the stairs in a Berlin train station. I mean, kicked her down the stairs. It is, you got to go and see it on DennisMichaelLynch.com. Search migrant kicks woman. You watch the video, you're like, what the hell? And we posted it days ago. Now it's only circling around. That's why we usually get stuff first. So I had wound up seeing this video and I called one of my contacts who it just so happens to have a buddy who's over where this all happened. And I said, oh my God, did you see that video? And the guy said, yeah. He goes, I reached out to my friend after I saw it on your site. He says, there's an APP out, All Points Bulletin, for they think this is like a group of migrant guys going around doing this. So we said, migrant kicks down person on the side. So this person is going to basically, you know, strangle me and hang me because of something to that level. That's stupid. You know, that's stupid. And I'm not just saying because it's towards me. It can be towards anybody. You gotta tone it down, man. Calm down. You know, calm down. You know, and when you're gonna reach out to somebody with some politeness. I mean, come on. You know, have a little, you know, read it back to you. You know, I've sent my share of doozy emails in my day, especially when I was younger. And I now have a rule. And I've told my kids this. If you've got a text message or you've got an email that you think is going to be scathing, write it. Because 90% of why you're writing what you're doing is because you need to release what's inside. You release it. But don't send it. Send it to yourself. Send it to yourself, then go inside, make yourself something to eat, or go watch a movie for a couple minutes, or go do something else, and then come back and read it. And read it and say, what would you be like if somebody sent that to you? I'll tell you 99% of the time, you're not going to send it. You got it out of your system. You know? So before you go sending off some scathing comment to somebody online, you know, read it to yourself. And maybe instead of turning around and accusing somebody of being a fraud, maybe turn around and write a question like, how did you know that it was a migrant? There you go. Huh. There you go. Uh-huh. All right, that's it. I was going to talk to you about a story about experts. But I got to tell you something. My hand is freezing. I got to start wearing my gloves. And don't send me gloves. People already sent me gloves. I just forgot to grab them. Anyway, Mrs. Lynch is not going to be mad at me anymore because she lost two things, temporarily so. And, I don't know. We got to sing one song. I always got to sing a song. I didn't sing any songs today. I'm a little off my game today. I think I'm getting sick. Really, DML? It's because you're walking around with no... I know. I think I'm getting sick. Hey, don't forget. Thursday, Walk and Talk, New York City. Yeah, we're going on the road. It's a good song. Let's screw with Mary one more time. Yeah, I'm going to sign off now. I want to do the part that you liked about. I was going to sing a song. What song do you want me to sing? What song?
Then.
What song, hon? What song should I sing? Look at this. I love you, Mary, and if it's quite all right, I love you, Mary. Such a lonely night, I love you, Mary. Won't you stay with me? Something like one of those things. Oh, pretty Mary, and if it's quite all right, Mary. I gotta learn the words. I love the words. What other songs do we have in there? Anything else? I'm not a terrible song. No, I'm not a terrible singer. Why don't you be a little nicer to me?
Yes, you sound terrible.
What? I do not sound terrible. You're so mean. Grinch. Merry Grinch. Merry Grinch. Yeah. What song am I singing? What song? You know what? Mary and I are having a tough day, it looks like. She's only being nice because you're here. I'll sing to her. She's always a woman to me. Ba-da-dum-dum-dum-dum, da-da-dum-dum-dum-dum. Bum 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 bum. Maybe it should be this one. Love on the rocks. Ain't no big surprise. Just pour me a drink and I'll tell you some lies. Ain't much to do, so just sing the blues all the time. What? They're dropping like flies. That's right, they're dropping. It went from, you know what it went from? It went from 3,600 to 3,600 since I started singing. I bet you if I really start singing, then the numbers will go up. You ready? You gave me my heart, and you gave me my soul. You left me alone here with nothing to hold. You ready? I went to 3.5. Yesterday's gone. Now all I want is a smile. First they say they love you, need how they really need you. Suddenly you find yourself out there walking in a storm. And when they love you, well, man, I used to know all these words by the heart. Just throw me off my game. Stick with Neil Diamond. DVD theme. On the boats and on the planes, they're coming to America. Bum, bum, bum. They're coming to America. Bum, bum, bum. Maybe we should change that. Through the border and in the Rio, they're coming to America. Boom, boom, boom. They're jumping the fence to America. Boom, boom, boom. All right, we're gonna go. Watch, I'm gonna give Mary a big kiss. Watch this. Say goodbye.
Bye.
All right, now she's not mad at me anymore. How can you be mad at me? All right, I gotta go. God bless you. God bless our troops. God bless the United States of America. God bless Miss Mary.